for a Scraplift Crafternoon, and I'm going to apologize. I seem to have picked up a little cold virus here, so I'm sounding a little sniffly. That's what's happened. So I'm going to drink my little medicine drink here and see if I can get this done. So let me show you what Miss Kristen has set us up for, y'all. She has picked a card to become a layout. And if you want, we'll have a link below with the video and stuff like that. But basically, she used like inks and like blended them all down. And then she actually used like a die cut on the side over here. She cut the side out or whatever. And it's like a little window with cat and spider and stuff. So what I've decided to do for my inspiration is it's kind of fortuitous in a sense, because I just got a whole bunch of inks in the mail. And I act like I didn't order those, but I did. They didn't just magically show up. I ordered them. And so I've got all these, and I thought, that's kind of this fall colorway type deal. And I thought it kind of matched with my Hip Kit Club for fall, for October. So then what I decided to do is I went into my phone and I got, what is the cat doing here? She's covering my light, y'all. And I had taken a couple of like those wide lens pictures when we went to Thanksgiving lunch at Fogo de Chao. So I've got like my family all sitting around this table, and then I got this guy like cutting his meat off. And I thought, well, that could be cute. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little piece of cardstock. It's a basil fig swirl. And I'm going to take the inks, I'm going to come down like that, like she did. And I'm going to put the pictures over here on this side, and I'm going to decorate this side. So that's my idea. So let me unpackage all these inks, because there's actually, what is that called? Plastic all around it. I'll have to unpackage them and kind of pick the ones I want to use. I'm going to do more than 3 colors because I have all these colors to choose from. So I'm just going to keep on going. But let me unpackage them and everything, and I'll come back on. Thanks. All right, guys. Let's see if I can get through this without sneezing or coughing or sniffling on you. So what I decided to do is go ahead and show you guys my little testing of the colors here. So these are the ones I've picked out initially. I think I generally stick with these. I think one of them I actually end up calling out. But I'm going to go through here, and I'm just going to show you the colors that I'm kind of looking to see if it matches this little strip here, because what I decided to do, looking at the picture again of the inspiration, the card, I think actually the left side, it had the little cat frame thing, and there was like a white, strip on the left side of it. And I think that's actually where the fold was, to be honest. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, it looks like there's kind of like a little strip there behind, a square. So I decided to use this floral as the strip. So this is the only piece of paper I pulled out of that entire collection. Okay, that's a lie. I ended up mounting the photos, but from where, you can really see it. It's this little floral. But I love it because it does have all these colors. So I went through and I picked those. I think I pulled that one up there. What's that? Tatter Rose or something. I don't think I used that one. But I do use the little lipstick one. That one looks pretty good. So those are the 6 I'm going to end up using here. And what I'm going to do is pull over my little cardstock, my little basil cardstock, and I'm going to take my magic brushes. And I do try to remember to clean it off on like a rag off to the side there between each time, because I start with the lightest, which I thought was smart of me, because normally I try to start with the darkest, and that was goofy. I say lightest. That pink's not terribly light. But anyway, I'm going to start up here in this corner, kind of like she did, and I'm going to end up with all 6 of these colors. And I'm just going to kind of come down this side here. So I showed you the pink, and then we'll go to this. I almost didn't use this gray because I really wanted a blue, but I went looking to see if I had any blues, and I really only had like that china there, and I had like a mermaid color, and neither of which are those correct. So this is what I end up with, and I don't dislike it. It looks great. I'm not sad about it, but that's actually not the blue color I started to want to use. But anyway, I'm going to come down on this side here. I'm going to cut away in just a second because I'm really just kind of going in circles, adding this ink. And so in a second, you'll see me kind of finishing up the colors here. So here's where I've got I did that lighter yellow, and then a little darker color, and then the green, and then the blue. And I think this looks kind of neat, actually. It's kind of rainbowy. It's not exactly rainbowy because, of course, that weird gray up there, but it's kind of rainbowy, and I like it. So I kind of come in here, and I've just done this, swirly-whirly deal. And I'm going to actually decide to go ahead and add water droplets. I don't think she did that on hers, but obviously the benefit of this oxide stuff is it reacts to water. So in a moment, I'm going to go over and get my water, and I'll sprinkle it on there. But here's where I'm just making sure I've come far enough over that the strip will cover up anything that's, not inked, basically. And it's not a real wide strip. I think it's like 2 inches. Well, here's where I'm just going to sprinkle some water. And I'm usually kind of impatient, and I'll pat it dry. But in this case, I still needed to mount my photos. So I'm going to end up setting this aside for just a second. and letting it kind of dry on its own. And I actually kind of liked how it looked I don't really point it out, or I don't really pay a lot of attention to it later, but I can see the droplet splatter things, later on when I'm messing with the layout here. I'll try to point it out if you can see it in the camera. I'm not sure you can or not, because it's a little bit, cameras are funny on things they pick up and things they won't. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside for just a second. I tried to dry it. I don't know why I did that. I kind of flipped it like I thought, I'll make that dry. That's not going to dry that paper. So I'll set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and mount these photos. Now, I'd already pasted them down onto that. I did pull out a full sheet, and it kind of hurt my feelings just a little bit because I didn't have any scraps big enough to mount the photos except for the cardstock I'm going to pull out, which was not in the collection. But this piece of paper right here, I did like that little yellow plaid, and the little blue was nice against the light blue there was not. It's a good little double mat there. And then I'm going to triple mat it with a piece of cardstock that was in my scraps from having used this collection one other time. And technically the cardstock didn't come with it. It was out of my stash, but I thought it looked good. So I'm going to just kind of trim these up. So you can see I've kind of got that. And then there's this little trim, or this piece here. And I honestly thought I didn't have to cut too much of it initially. I thought, well, I'll just leave that whole like that. No, too big of a border. So I'm going to trim that down just a hair. So as I mentioned, this is when we're at Thanksgiving. We don't have a big family or anything like that. So we used to cook. I used to cook tons of food and all that. And then a couple years ago, my husband's like, why are you cooking all that food? It doesn't ever get all eaten, and it's a lot of work, and you're tired, and blah, blah, blah. So we discovered that Fogo de Chao, which if you're not familiar with them, that's a Brazilian steakhouse. And basically they walk around this restaurant with these sticks of meat, and you have a little card, and you flip it to the green or you flip it to the red. If you want them to stop at your table, you flip your little card to the green. And if you don't want them to stop right then, you leave it red. But they have that, and they'll walk around with the meat. And then they also have this really big, nice buffet with like salad type stuff or like side item things. So you go over and you get you some, like I said, salad or like corn or what. It's not like traditional stuff. Although for Thanksgiving, they do have a little mini buffet that has like, I'm trying to think, because we don't actually we don't go the traditional stuff. I'm like, I'm not going to get traditional Thanksgiving when I'm at Fogo de Chao. So we don't really go over there. But I think they have like sweet potatoes and stuff like that. But we tend to stick on the more fancier stuff. And we really enjoy that because I don't have to cook and I don't have to clean. And we go up there and we dress fancy and we eat, and then we go home sick as a dog because we've eaten so much. And I decided, okay, so on the inspiration, because she had the little window for the cat, I thought I'm going to put some frames. I thought I might do more frames, but some of them are so pretty with little sayings and things. I didn't really want to cover them up. So I ended up not really pulling out any other frames. And I really kind of thought to, but I just couldn't do it. And then I saw this little house here, and I thought I might use that, but I put that back away because it said home is where you are. And in my mind, I'm thinking we're not technically at home, but it is kind of how we're, accomplishing Thanksgiving. So I thought to use it, but decided it didn't work really. I did see this piece of ephemera, and it says gathering. And so I'm going to end up making the title Thanksgiving Gathering Fogo de Chao. And it worked out really well because there's a puffy font that comes with this collection that's a really good size. And I was kind of proud how that worked out because it was actually, it fit perfectly. So I've actually this is now where I'm going to start going off the rails as it relates to the inspiration because I started off with the inks, right? And then I've got the little strip and I've got the little frames, and then I'm going to just start building out clusters now. And she didn't really have that on the card, which I guess maybe on a card you don't have to, but, yeah, I'm going to start going a little bit off the rails here. I pick up that little circle, and I go, no, you're not going to work. So he gets put back aside. So I do like this tag, though. And this is not on the card at all, the little card inspiration at all. But I do like it because it grounds the title, and it's going to ground a little cluster I'm going to end up building out over there. So that's going to take me a second to glue things down. So I'm going to cut away, and then I'm going to come back over here. I've sorted through the ephemera at this point. I've set aside the things I don't think I'm going to use. I actually may end up getting back in there in just a second, but I'm going to start just kind of putting stuff down. And I've also put my title down. You can see where I have Thanksgiving Gathering Fogo de Chao. I did put foam up underneath the right-hand side of Gathering, and I put a little bit of, I did put the pictures on foam. I didn't really show y'all that because it was just taking me for a while to figure out the little strips of foam so it didn't get into the cardstock frames I stuck down there. And I know I can cut the frames and all that, but I just didn't feel like doing it. And so I'm just going to build out these little clusters. I found that little envelope with the flowers poking out. And then there's a little thing that says, good Lord, I just looked at that too. It said, the little circle thing says something, blessings or something. And then that little heart there, the little phrase up there says thankful heart. I stick that up there. I do like this little blue heart to go up there in the upper left. I'm just kind of pulling out things that I think kind of go, size-wise. I do like those little, I think that's called anise, the little, they're little seasoning deals. You might toss them into some fall dishes, those little star-looking things. I think it's called anise. And y'all feel like, y'all correct me down there. I'm sure somebody knows the actual right word. I don't ever use it when I'm cooking. I've seen it in things, and it's really pretty. I think I've seen it in potpourri, if I'm honest with you. But anyway, I put that on there, and I'm building out that. I found a few little phrases I thought was neat. One says, so thankful and things like that. I'm just kind of building, like I said, those clusters. So this is definitely where I've gone off the rails from the inspiration, because she doesn't have any kind of, horizontal elements or anything like that going off to the side. But I think for a big old 12 by 12 layout, I needed to fill out the space a little bit. Here's where I put my string on my card. I'm going back into this cardstock because I thought I might pull something else out of there. And I do end up pulling this little bow up at the top. I start with that, and I think that looks really pretty. But I couldn't make that work at all. I thought that was kind of pretty too, but nope. Going to go back on the card or the sticker deal there. But I do pull out this little yellow bow up there. I've been kind of wanting to use those bows because I see them, and I thought, well, okay, I'll put you up there. And then I do pull out two little hearts. I do have some ephemera hearts glued down, but I add these here just to kind of build out the little heart theme, because it's like thankful hearts or whatever. And so that's pretty much what I'm going to do to this layout, y'all. I really appreciate you watching. Make sure you check out the other ladies. There's a playlist down there below. And definitely check out the original card because my thing is completely different, I think. And at least in my mind, I've kind of gone off the rails a little bit, even though I really do like how this turned out. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we will see y'all next week. Bye.